You want your Imperial army to look even better? Well, that's what we're going to get into today. How to make your Imperial army look amazing, wonderful, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. So let's get into this video without further ado. But first, please make sure to smash that like and subscribe button down below. I could use all the support I can get here on the channel. And let's get into this video without further ado. Alright, so one of our first tips of the day is to have just any plain stone trooper like this one right here. You can do anything with it, but add a pauldron to it. It looks super cool. I personally love when people add pauldrons to their figures. It looks so good on Mox. And this one is a cheap one. It came in the Tatooine Escape Pod, I believe, or in Luke's Land Speeder. It came in one of those sets, but it is super cool to see that on figures. Now, I understand it may be kind of hard for you to find a pauldron because, well, they don't really make them in a lot of Lego sets, and I think they're kind of expensive on Bricklink. So you can always buy custom ones, but those do cost around 50 cents, and I don't think you want to be spending money. I mean, even though it's very cheap and very affordable, I don't think you really want to be buying those. So I thought of a strategy that I did when I was a kid, a little bit younger, and I made a custom pauldron for a minifigure. So let's get into this. Here's what one of my custom pauldrons does look like. I'm going to show you how to make this exact pauldron today in a tutorial, but this is how it will look like. You just make it out of paper, pen, pencil, whatever you want to do. It's not my favorite one. I wish I had a green marker so I could just really make it glow and it'd be really cool for the Death Trooper, but it's just something you can add to your Imperial figures to make them look a little bit better, you know, around the battlefield, I guess. And it's just something cool. So let's get into how you can actually make one of these yourself. It's really simple. It only took me a few minutes. Alright, the first thing I suggest you do is make sure you have at least one of these pauldrons. If you don't, then maybe find a printout online or something you can do to like trace it. But what you can do for this is just make sure it's flat, put your finger on it, and just make sure it's flat so you don't get like crooked angles on it and have it all the wrong sizes. Just try to be very careful not to move it around too much, and then you're gonna want to trace around it with a pencil. That's what I prefer to do. I don't really want to use marker on this little trace. You can use marker once you do all the details on this figure, but you're gonna really want to use a pencil for this part. And yeah, that's just something I tend to do when doing these figures. And then you're going to want to fill in the gaps. That's what I'm doing right now, like of things that were missed by my little trace of the pauldron. So that's something you totally want to look into. Now you're going to get like a Sharpie, pen, pencil, whatever you want to use, just a marker of some kind. And since we're doing a Death Trooper, I grabbed black and green today because why? That's just the colors of Death Troopers. Now this pencil isn't going to work so well, so right now I'm about to change it out for a Sharpie because I don't want it to come out way bad. So right now we're going to get a Sharpie of green and black. And since I'm doing a Death Trooper, I'm doing green and black, and I was not able to find a green Sharpie, so I'm going to be using the pencil still, which is a little unfortunate because it won't look quite as good, but it is coming out very nice right now. I'm just covering it in black and making it look really good. But you can use any colors you want for these pauldrons, and you don't even have to use Imperial colors and all that stuff. I mean, you can use these for any figure, and they just turn out really great, and it's a good way to make custom ones instead of spending some money on a Cape Cantina one that I'd rather not spend. So, I mean, overall, you can do this. It's a cheaper option, and I'm pretty sure you have paper, pencil, and a pen at home. So, I mean, you can always do that and then make one of these. So right now I'm about to cut out this thing off camera because it's going to be way easier. But here's a tip that I want to give you. So when cutting these little white circles out, like that you usually have on pauldrons for the minifigure's head, you're going to want to like fold it in half. You see how I'm doing it? And then do like a cut, because that'll make it way easier instead of just like jabbing at it, because it's very hard to cut circles inside this tiny piece of paper. So there we have the complete Death Trooper, looking very nice with this very fancy new pauldron. It's not the best design. I mean, I think it looks good, but you may think it's not the best. But it's just something cool you can add to your figures to make them really stand out. The next tip today for your Imperial army is something that you want to do is weapons. Now, the generic Stormtrooper tends to come with just a blaster, sometimes a Stutcher, so you don't want to use Stutchers because they're very, very ugly. And I mean, they're fun for play, but they're ugly. So you have a generic Stormtrooper and you have a blaster for it, right? But this doesn't really like represent a DC-15 blaster. So here's one suggestion you could do. You could go to Clone Army Customs. Yes, that is the name, Clone Army Customs, and you can get a custom blaster for $1 each. Sometimes they have a sale for 50 cents each, but on a scale of this army this big, that's gonna be a lot of money. Like there's 136 figures here total. I don't want to spend $136 on minifigure blasters. That's a little bit much for just some blasters for my Imperial army over here. So here's another suggestion that you can do. So it's very simple, very easy, is you can just grab a Technic pin, like so, right here, one of these Technic rods or pins, I don't know what they're really called, but you can just put it on the edge of the Death Trooper's gun, and look at that, you got yourself a long range weapon. I mean, regardless, the Death Troopers always had long range weapon, but this looks so much better, and you can just do anything you want with these. I mean, you can even put gray right here, like that looks okay, it's not the best design. Personally, when you want to use gray, is mainly on the Snow Troopers, because that just, in my opinion, looks the best. Here, you just lift that gun up and you put gray on the Snow Trooper. Like, personally, I feel like that looks really good, but you can do it for any figure that you please to do. Now, if you already have a Storm Trooper weapon, they give you a custom gun. Even though it's not 100% accurate, it does look way better than if they were just to give you a plain blaster or a stud shirt from Inferno Squad. Like, I know it was a battle pack. Did you really have to give Inferno Squad all stud shirts? That's just really unfortunate. The last and final tip of the day actually comes with Imperial officers. Now, dual molded legs look extremely well on these figures. They make them look 10 times better, and I absolutely love them. I personally have only bought one pair from Tyler, aka Lifebrick Studios, but he did just get a whole ton of them in stock, so totally check them out on his Brooklyn store. They're amazing, so make sure to look at those. And I mean, you can do it for Grand Orphan Thrawn too, because he also has a set of legs that has black on the bottom and gray on the top. Personally, I don't have any of them, unfortunately, but it looks really good. So you can do them for figures like Admiral Lauren, Grand Orphan Thrawn, Tarkin, all your Imperial officers, which I don't have that many, but I can do it for all of them, and it really makes a big difference. Let me show you what Grandma's Tarkin looks like without Tarkin legs that look really good. They just really don't look that great. They look alright. I mean, it's just not nearly as good. So it's a cost that will cost you around maybe like $2 per leg, but overall it's definitely worth it. Like, it looks so good. Just get the dual molded legs. It will really make your figure look great. Now, if this tutorial was useful for you, make sure to smash that like and subscribe button down below. I really could use the support, and I'll see you all in the next video. Bye.